Greetings to you all. I'll keep this brief. Chit chat's very boring, so we'll pan back. There we are. King Edward II, the limited edition model. 1,000 of them made apparently. You can see the details along the bottom. R3102. This is a nice model. I wouldn't say it's worth the money, so we won't go on in great detail about the whys and wherefores of Hornby. No one's interested. Those of you who would be aware of this will know. Those of you who don't, and if you're fresh to this, here we go, there's two worms. Those of you who are fresh to this will be aware that Hornby are rather pricing themselves out of a market at the moment. He runs that across twice. There we have it. Okay, picture on the back is very nice. Features one or two extra little details that you will not find on the model, but we are talking about an old machine. Nicely, on the positives, the decoration is stunning, as you can see. We could get in a bit detail. My camera, I'm afraid, is on my phone and is not particularly HD. But where you see those linings, as single linings across here and so forth, these are double linings. Your bands are in fact black lined in between the whites. The glazing, which you can't quite see at the moment for some reason, there we go. The glazing is very nicely done. Black and white lining here and so forth. It's interesting when I look at that and you think, someone told me once they were Darlington colours. Well, why would it be Darlington colours if it was a Western engine? Surely this was built, no doubt, in Swindon. Who knows? This is what confused me to come out with a comment I did in a previous film, which I erased, that would say, well, there's my third. I should shut up about them now. The problem I found was that I found myself yabbering on about L&ER colours. Well, why would a Western have L&ER colours? Stupid thing to say. So, the basics. It's a 5-pole motor apparently. Don't know, I've never pulled it out. There are one or two odd little items that seem to be stuck to it, like for instance the white marking on here. But for their wisdom, I'm sure Hornby know why that's on there. It seems to be on the real thing. I'm looking at the picture as we speak. Indeed. So fair enough, could have added her. Now there's a significance as to the reason why I've bought this model, despite the fact that I don't think really the recommended retail price is justified. But the reason why I bought it all the same was, very briefly, my son, my father and myself went to the Mid-Norfolk Railway last year. We've never travelled on the line before. Dereham to Windham, Windham back to Dereham. And it was quite a tremendous day. That's really all I can say. Beautiful day, and here's another the whole subject was that we had such a nice time. My dad had 2 cups of tea. There is a piece of footage on YouTube, very, very sketchy film on a phone that I had last year, which shows us off the engine while the engine ran around itself and then reversed and so forth, that they do on this single line. We had a great time, and everything was you know, such a good experience, running up and down the line, hearing it going under the flyover and so forth. A cup of tea on the way and what have you. I've had a fantastic time. You know, this was the crucial thing. Now I've got it plugged in and all switched on. I want to run this forward. Oops, as you can see she chunts just aside. Okay. And then hopefully we should be able to inspect our NEM coupling, which I'm glad to say is fitted. It does make all the difference to those of you who are purists. Myself, I tend to I've got a trained eye that tends not to care too much about D-bars, but they aren't for everybody. They're not everybody's cup of tea, so understandably why some people say to themselves, I'm not paying that much for some stupid old D-bar on it. No interior detailing picked out. I guess if they had done, we would probably be looking at being asked to pay yet more. Good thing. I've got a paintbrush. I've got some gold and silver paint, and red if need be, for the regulator. So let's not faff around anymore. We're 5 minutes into the film. Let's run her back. Okay, and let's see her running. We hop. As you can see, she struggles a bit when you just give it a touch. And it's chugga 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 instead of what you would get with Batman, which would be a nice, smooth manoeuvre. Okay, right away, here we go. I'm not going to blow the whistle, goodness knows. I'll do this with Alfie. But there you go, off she goes. No wheel slips, 6 coaches. They're only lemurs, they're not quite heavy. Still have metal axles. Beware that little one there you just seen go past there, the blood and custard is a bit rattly. But it was a cheap effort from eBay, so you get what you paid for. You can hear it chugga 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 every now and then. You'll hear it juddering as we go past. Sorry about the swing. You listen out, you'll hear it go. Chugga chugga chugga. No? You don't like my points very much either. I'm going to go on in great detail about what you see behind you, but these are all Alfie's locomotives, including Eddie Stobart at the back there. Thank you, Scott. If he ever gets to read this, Alfie's blue train, as he calls it. It's very blue on here actually. My footage tends to pick it up a lot more than the turquoise, I would call it. The Arriva runner in. Basic Flying Scotsman Railroad, A1. A railroad that I replated and numbered. That's hence the reason why you can see a little bit more detail on them than you usually do. I'd love to fit lights to that someday. Who knows? So there's King Edward, running beautifully. And there really is very little I can fault it with in terms of its running. It's just that I think a lot of people have said, well, for the same money, I can pick up a new castle. I call it castle myself. They can pick up a newer castle for the same price, and understandably feel a little bit aggrieved. Why should I pay extra money for this one? But, I bought mine for sentimental reasons, as I say, with the lovely day we had. I just felt it was something that Alfie can relate to. Now we've got it, and it's a lovely loco, it really is. Sadly I got rid of my Harry Potter recently, otherwise I would have had 3 westerns and 3 different liveries, but I had to sell off for a multitude of reasons which we won't go into. Mainly space was the sell-off reason. Yes, but this you can see running in the carriages. My idea was to mock it up the way Alfie remembers it from the footage he's seen, and he sees it on YouTube. Modern image layout you see Alfie has. Thought it seemed to make sense. When I was a kid, my dad made ours as modern image as he possibly could, with this funny old pannier loco. I have a different version of here. My R855 Flying Scotsman and an old spam can class 37. I sold them all before in the 80s. A bit of a regret really now. This loco you see in front of us here, there's a reason why, of course. It's nice that the two run together, because he's seen King Edward, as we now see, coming through last year, and has seen the 335 this year. I picked it out. We were at a show on Sunday, and I said to him, do you want to pick that up? Because I've got one of my own. I said, well, you know, if you want, go and bargain with the man. And he managed to get a couple of quid off it, which was quite nice, and very pleased with himself. And for once, Mummy wasn't moaning that, oh, we've got a loco. So what's this his, and so on and so forth. So there we are. Anyway, we're going to bring Edward in all its glory. Bring her up to the signal. Now, to be particular, let's drop the signal, because that's Alfie's one of these people who has to have authenticity. And I'm bringing it down slowly. Just comes over that little rise, but it does stutter a bit. There we have it. Is it value for money? No. I have to be totally honest with you, no. If you are just going to willy-nilly buy a King Edward loco, you're going to buy a King class, and you're patient, I would suggest that the new one is probably the way forward. The summarising of it, I would give it 7 out of 10. But a strong 7 for the livery, decoration and presentation of the engine. It is absolutely gorgeous. In terms of practicality, you've still got that old pony on the front, so forth. I'd still have to do detailing to it and so forth, but I love the loco, and for sentimental reasons I've bought it. So that's really what we all need to say, and before I keep erming anymore. So I do know there's somebody on on YouTube who picks them up. I'm counting your erms, mate, and I think this is the day today. Who could forget that phrase? Who could forget that sketch? Where every time he erms, everybody erms back at him. It's an American psychologist bloke. Classics. That's it for another time. So, King Edward, value for money, we've worked that out. No, I would honestly recommend that you hang on. However, if you love this particular locomotive and can be patient, I could strongly suggest keep an eye on things, keep watching, and eventually, if there are any left, go out and buy one. If you love it that much like I do, then you won't really be bothered too much about how much you spend, because I really don't see myself buying another steam engine this year. I'm happy I've had this. This has been on pre-order, and it came yesterday morning, having only been dispatched on Tuesday night. So tremendous. Thank you very much to our friends in Portishead for getting it off and down here, and so darn quick. She's worth a lot to me. Perhaps I would have priced it £95 as being a little bit more realistic, but whys and wherefores, they have their reasons. I still got it cheaper than you buy it anywhere else, and for, quite frankly, the 140 quid that people want for it is just daft. So there we are, we've seen her running, we've had the once over from her. I don't think it has any form of traction tyres on there that I can see. Nope. It's a beautiful beast, and I'll tell you what, to see Alfie's face yesterday when he spied it on the track, it was, oh goodness, and I thought, good boy, that's all that matters. And it's nice, it stimulates his memory, you know. It's good to know that he has a good memory, and remember the lovely day out he had last year with Pa and me, and the cups of tea and the trolley that went round. So some things you can't put a price on, I guess. Right, there we have it. So we'll take you up to 12.5 minutes. Hopefully get this uploaded, and see you again soon. Alright, take good care of yourselves now. Bye.